Hello everybody, welcome back for the August monthly market update. My name is Jenna Gray and each month I break down what's actually going on in the Dayton real estate market, from the numbers to the neighborhoods and the news. So let's get into it. Okay, let's talk numbers, and I promise to make this as quick and painless as possible. All of this data is pulled from the Greater Dayton MLS on showing time, so it is actual data and not just a guess. If I had to sum up July in one sentence, it would be things cooled off just enough to feel normal again. Not a slowdown, not a frenzy, just normal. Over the last few years, this might be the most interesting story of all. Here's the headline number. July's median sales price landed at $272,000. That's the first dip we've seen in a while, but zoom out to last year and we're still up from $265,000. Now here's the number that actually surprised me. 1,689 homes sold in July. That is a big jump from June's 1,588. And it beats last July's 1,603 as well. Buyers didn't just shop this summer, they closed. Where'd they find all those homes? Inventory. There are 3,072 homes on the market right now, up from 2,979 in June. And up more than 5% from a year ago. If you've been frustrated by slim pickings the past couple of summers, it's finally going away. New listings actually pulled back a bit. 2,094 in July versus 2,221 in June. But that's just the seasonal rhythm starting to wind down. Compared to last year's 2,033, sellers are still showing up more than they were. And homes are moving fast, 37 average days on the market, down from 39 in June and basically flat with last year. Sellers are also still getting close to what they're asking, 98.8% sales to asking price on average, though that's down a touch from the 99.4 in June and 99 a year ago. Translation? Buyers are clawing back a little bit of that negotiation power. Months of supply held steady at 2.2. Same as June, same as last year. We're still under the 3-month mark, which defines a seller's market. So sellers keep the edge. It's not just tightening further, which tells you that this market is settling into a rhythm instead of spiraling into either direction. And then there's mortgage rates. Currently averaging 6.69% according to Freddie Mac's most recent survey. They crept up through July from 6.43% to 6.66% and ticked a bit higher into August. But they aren't working against the buyer like they were a year ago. So what's the takeaway? If you're a seller, you still hold the cards. Fast sales, near asking price, but the edge is softening. So pricing it right matters more now than it did in the last few months and years. If you're a buyer, you have more inventory, more sales moving around you, and a little more breathing room on price and rate than you did last summer. This is a market that rewards buyers and sellers that come prepared, not the frenzy that we had in 2021 and 2022. This month, we are spotlighting Troy. And if you've never made the trip up to Fulton Farms Sweet Corn Festival, you better mark your calendar, because this one's worth it. Fulton Farms is hosting their Sweet Corn Festival August 23rd and 24th. And if past years are any indication, this is a big deal. Corn roast, live music, food trucks, craft vendors, even a classic car show that has grown into over hundreds of entries. Fulton Farms has been family run since 1954, now in their 3rd generation, and they pull 90% of what they sell at the market from other local Ohio farms. They also make a point of supporting their community, donating to local veterans groups, and having the local Boy Scouts run the parking at the event in exchange for a donation. If you want a genuinely small town Saturday, this is it. But the bigger story in Troy is actually what's happening downtown. There's a building on South Market called Mayo's Hall. It dates back to 1854, and it used to be the entertainment hub for the whole town. The 3rd floor was Troy's first opera house, and performers used to get ready at the Morris Hotel right next door and then walk directly backstage. It hosted everything from school commencements to Civil War relief events. That building just changed hands for $400,000 and it is being reborn. Developers Evan Isles and Dan Burns are splitting the first floor into retail and office space, and then the second 2 stories they're converting into residential condos. 9 new units right in the heart of downtown Troy. The first tenant is already open. It is Downtown Fizz, a dirty soda shop that just opened its doors in July, run by a husband and wife team, Kristen and Ben Weber, who are raising 5 kids in nearby Tip City. They serve 57 different syrup flavors and hired 14 people to run the place. It's a small story, but it says a lot. Troy's downtown isn't just for hanging out anymore. People want to live there. And that idea, moving housing into the places we already love, is a great transition into our housing news we're going to talk about, because supply is the word everybody in real estate is using right now. So let's start somewhere fun. Chris Pratt just listed his $20 million LA mansion for the 5th time. 5th. Meanwhile, the average home on the market in Dayton sells in 37 days. So if you've ever felt bad about your home sitting on the market for a little longer than you'd hoped, a Hollywood budget doesn't fix everything. But there is a real story behind that headline. Nationally, the real estate market is splitting in 2. Economists are calling it a K-shaped recovery. Luxury home sales are up more than 6% this year, while starter homes are actually down, even though there are more of them on the market. The national median home sales price hit an all-time high in June, $440,600, according to the National Association of Realtors. Compare that to our median here in Dayton, $272,000, and you start to see why people are moving here from pricier markets. Washington actually did something really interesting about home affordability this summer. The 21st Century Road to Housing Act became law this July. It's a bipartisan bill aimed at increasing housing supply nationwide. And one of its bigger provisions prevents large corporate investors from buying up single-family homes. The kind of corporate home buying that's made it harder for first-time buyers to compete in this market. And Ohio's working on our own version. State Representative Tex Fisher has a bill, House Bill 361, that would speed up zoning and building approvals to give builders and homeowners a little bit more certainty in this market. But Harrison Township, they're not waiting around. They just approved a full rewrite of their zoning code to allow for what they call the missing middle. So that would be duplexes, triplexes, quadplexes, and condos. The idea is simple. Not everybody needs a half-acre lot and single-family home. And right now, Ohio's housing stock is 69% single-family detached homes. This is the exact type of zoning reform that this federal bill is trying to encourage. Here's the thing, Dayton's actually in a pretty decent spot compared to the rest of the country. Our new construction homes have a median sales price of about $301,000. And that makes us the 8th cheapest metro city in the US for new builds. The catch is we're not building enough of them. Only 5% of homes in this area last year that were sold were new builds compared to 15%. And that's part of why you're seeing new projects break ground all over the region. Huber Heights alone has over 1,800 new homes being built. And Rockford Homes just announced 740 more units. But here's the sobering number. A new study found that the Dayton-Kettering-Beaver Creek Metro ranks 3rd in the U.S. for foreclosures, and it's about 6%. Rising property taxes and insurance costs are part of what's driving that, and it's worth watching. But there is also a silver lining tucked within this data. Dayton has the lowest share of homeowners paying HOA fees of any major Ohio metro. Just 16% here compared to 30% in Columbus. So depending on where you live, your biggest housing pressure might be property taxes, rising insurance, but at least you don't have to worry about rising HOA fees coming in the mail. Bottom line, the market here in Dayton is being shaped by Washington, Columbus, and down to the township level. Alright guys, that covers it. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and if you know anybody who might want to know anything I said in this video, go ahead and send it to them. If you have questions about the market, you want some information on buying or selling, or you just want to know what your home might be worth right now, please reach out. I'm here to help. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next month.